Okay, I need to get right to it, honey. So I was diagnosed with fibroids in 2008. I was 35 years old. I am now 50 years old. And when I was diagnosed, I was living in survival mode. And I mean, living in survival mode. And so my first, but I always, even though I was living in survival mode, I always kept a job with health insurance so I could go to the doctor. My mom drilled that into me before I left home at age 22 to move to Atlanta to keep a job with some health insurance. Or yeah, that was it. That was the option. So I kept a job with some health insurance, some dental insurance. So that is how I found out that I had fibroids. However, I was going to go about it another way. I was not going to allow a hysterectomy. I was not going to go straight into surgery because my sister advised me to try to deal with it as holistically as possible. Now, when I was diagnosed with five fibroids, two the size of baseball and three like the size of oranges. Um, so I started seeking out natural healing. Now, let me rewind. I went to see an iridologist in 1999, and she told me, she looked in my eyes, she said, "You got a fibroid on your right ovary, your right side of your womb, right ovary." And so I kind of scoffed at her when she said that. But I took it to, I did believe her. And when she gave me, I didn't scoff at the diagnosis. I scoffed at the paper that she gave me. The basically the strategy, the wellness strategy that she gave me, the nutritional wellness strategy that she gave me when she told me I had a fibroid on the right hand side of my reproductive system was like, "Oh, girl, you want me to stop eating bread? Oh, I can't stop eating sandwiches." I mean, that was my mindset. So fast forward, and that was in 1999. Fast forward, um, I never had an irregular period. I remember the first time I had a period that was like a breakthrough bleeding. They called it breakthrough bleeding, and basically it was an early period, and that was the first time that my period was not regular or irregular. And I kept that in the back of my mind, but I told my mom because my mom, she had a fibroid surgery. So she told me, she said, "Well, try to stay off your feet if you can, so if it's an early period, try to rest as much as possible." That was what she gave, that was the advice that she gave me. So anyway, a few years later, I'm laying in bed one night and I put my hand right here on my uterus, my abdomen, my pelvis, and I felt a knot up under my right side. So I knew immediately what it was. And but I still went to the doctor, and the doctor sent me to see an ultrasound tech. And lo and behold, five fibroids. So what I did was I told my sister said, "Don't do the surgery, find a holistic way to deal with it." And so I sought out holistic healing and didn't have to go far. I was working with someone who was in medical school, and she was interning under a holistic doctor who was carrying the products that I would be using for eliminating fibroids in the future. So she bought a flyer to work. This was before social media. Like this was when MySpace was out, but everybody wasn't on MySpace because MySpace was for people, doing music or people want to keep up with their friends. This was a real grown woman. She wasn't thinking about no MySpace. So anyway, um, she bought the flyer to work, and when she bought it to work, I held on to it, and I in February was when I was ready to purchase the womb detox, the parasite detox, all of the detoxes that I was supposed to purchase from this woman, who would become my mentor and who would teach me how to make soap and teach me everything I needed to know as far as womb wellness is concerned. So Long story short, that's how I met Aisha the Herb Lady, also known as Aisha, Dr. Herb Sister, Dr. Aisha Faiza. Started um, buying her products and working with her when she would vend and learning more about herbs and holistic living and womb wellness. Now, I did work at Whole Foods when right before I was diagnosed with fibroids, and that was my introduction to organic food, all natural versus conventional versus USDA organic. That was where I got my knowledge for food. As far as nutritional therapy is concerned, that was where I first laid eyes on this book and picked this book up, Eat Right for Your Type. Um, but I didn't adopt this lifestyle until much later, 2017, and we will get into that because I do practice the blood type lifestyle current day, and that has helped me with eliminating fibroids and in my Fuck These Fibroids lifestyle. So that is pretty much the beginning of my fibroid story. I just wanted to share that so you all could see that there is a way out. Most of the women that I'm meeting now that have fibroids or that have been coming to me, they have been in survival mode. Well, I tell you what, there is a way for you to deal with fibroids when you are quote unquote in survival mode, but you got to get your way out of it. And what happens is our doctors don't tell us this, but fibroids are a whole body issue. They are also a spiritual issue. They are also a emotional and definitely a physical issue. But I don't hear anybody really talking about the emotional or the spiritual aspect of fibroids and how to align the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical all together so that they work together and that healing happens in the body. Because none of our doctors are saying, oh, your pelvic bowl is where your nervous system sits, so you need to be regulating your pelvic bowl, or you need to be moving your pelvic bowl so that your nervous system can be regulated. So once your nervous system is regulated, then you can start working on detoxing your liver and your lymphatic system and your womb and your blood and your gut, and then everything will work together for good. Nobody is saying that in the conventional medical uh, system or out loud because they claim that nutrition don't have nothing to do with it or they don't know. And they definitely don't want to talk about herbs. They don't want to talk about yoni steaming. Um, not all of them. I'm going to say conventional medical doctors, not the integrative ones, because we do know integrative medical doctors or integrative OBGYNs. So, anyway, before I go off on a tangent, that is it for now. And I will see you all later. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.